Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to look at the round 15 team lists, but we've got about 10 minutes before that's due. So we'll use the time to do a bit of a sports deck review of round 14. And I guess in line with the other videos I've put out today, a bit of a halfway season review. So in terms of round 14, a pretty decent week I thought with the 1036. However, it was only just scraping in the top 20% of the round. So dropped 25 spots, but still pretty well ranked in 137th overall. If we have a look at the team, so Cam McInnes this week with a 51 was solid. Terrell Mayer's captain was really good with 79. Payne Haas also 59 was quite good. Takura got his second game and scored at 18, but might have himself a bit of an ankle injury, so we were hoping he might be useful in round 18, but it doesn't look like that's going to work out. In the second row, Kyle Matangi was massive with a 104. Isaiah Yeo with 64 was good. Toby Couchman with 62, also really good. And even Horsburgh and Hubner on the bench with 57 and 51 respectively, we were pretty happy with. In the halves, we had Metcalf score an 80, which was really good. Cleary with the 66, but this is where it does start to fall off a bit. So we had Nico Hines score us a 25, which was pretty flat. KL Ero was pretty good, 45, but has got himself injured. Jackson Purdue we traded in and didn't quite work out this week with just a 20-point return. Jacob Kiraz with a 53 though was good yesterday. Ruben Garrick with a 53 was solid, but Jaden Campbell and Yongi both sort of flopping, 21 and 12 respectively. And Katoa, he continues to carve up with a 67-point return. So had those 4 weak scores, which probably, dragged me down close to 100 points if, they were 40s to 50s, which is what we would hope for based on their averages. But in the head-to-head this week, I did get a win over the Rabbits. So 953 for Lockie's team. So he had Dylan Lucas score him a 62, Garrick, who I had as well, Hosking with a 56. So it was probably just, the likes of a Metcalf and a couple of 60s there that got me over the line. But looking across the league, there was a couple of 1100s. So Shano gets the chockies this week with a 1105. So his team contained Eli Katoa with the 69, Kyle Matangi as well, Terrell May's captain. But Dylan Lucas scored well. Herbie Farnworth with 80 was good. And solid contributions there throughout. So, probably only had the one lowish score with Metcalf on 26. Hull White Star scored well as well with an 1100, so Oliver must be doing well overall. And again, we look through, there's Nico Hines, probably 25, but other than that, a lot of consistent scoring throughout. So, like I said, just a few too many low scores this week in my team. Speaking of which, let's have a look at the league. So, still sitting on top with an 11-1 record, so doing pretty well in that sense. But, Oliver, 49th overall, so still in the top 50, which is pretty good. Hopefully he's well set up for this week. But yeah, with my team, we will have a bit of a look at the history. So being a bit more aggressive with the trades. Admittedly, we don't get quite as many in this format. But you can see I already used 4 boosts. And if we go through some of the trading, so we got rid of Tommy Turbo early. Just, wasn't doing it for us. brought in Payne Haas instead, so I think that was a good move. Humphreys made a good bit of cash for us, and Tamale also scoring well for us, and in terms of cash. So I think those trades were really good. Obviously, Tulangi, Duffy, not the best picks at the start. Skelton and Hetherington we got off pretty quick. So I know I held on to Skelton a bit longer in Supercoach, probably an error in hindsight. But Stafford Toller was amazing for us, and Matty Nicholson also made some good cash. So probably again a couple of picks here that I didn't go with in Supercoach that cost me dearly. Was that Billy Smith? Oh no, Sandon Smith. So we jumped off Sandon Smith fairly early, but we did upgrade Ken McInnes. I think that's a pretty good move. Jenkins, for Finifuaki, I think was a great move too, given the money we got from him. So Jamie Humphreys, we got 240k and brought in Dylan Egan, which was another great money maker. So hitting wins there. I think this must have been when Mademoiselle's got injured, so we cashed out Shibasaki, Tamale, upgraded to Ellie Katoa and Preston. So obviously the Preston move has been hampered by his suspension, but I think two great trade-ins there, and Hiroti made us a bit of cash too. So 150k in 2 weeks. It's pretty nice. Traded out Campbell with the injury for Greg Marzu. Allowed us to get Connor Watson, so I think that's reasonable. Brought Billy Smith in. Toa to Kiraz, that's a really nice move. Hiroti to Derby, just trying to make a quick buck. Another 150k, so just being very aggressive on those quick money makers. Jackson Purdue, so we actually held him in this format and he made a heap of money for us. So I brought him back in now. But yeah, actually made a profit on that move, so that's okay. It did allow us to get in Eero, which is good. Nicholson, that's a lot of money he made. That's fantastic. Got us to Teddy, and Marzu and Derby to Campbell, I think was a good move. Actually, it's just the reverse. I just yeah. So made a little bit of money in that transaction. Barnett, unfortunately, down injured, so Fanua Blake wasn't the right move, but we've hit a lot of good trades, so that's fine. Hosking, probably again, not a lot out of him, but we could have done better. And Nwangani Tuase, I think, will be a pretty good asset for the next few weeks at least. We'll try and do like a final upgrade with him, I think. Yeah, so Fanua Blake to Kyle Matangi was probably, obviously didn't play around 12, but I think he is the right pick. McCarthy's a cheapie, we're not too concerned there. And then Couchman and Purdue to help us with the buy coverage. It's probably a bit sideways Hosking to Purdue, um, but I guess upgrading Smith to Couchman is pretty nice. In terms of the ranks, so you can see we've hit 3 top 20s this year, so that obviously helps. Obviously, there's not as many players in this, so it's not nothing spectacular, but I guess it's consistent, which is what you want to be so highly ranked. So we did hit as high as 57th, and it has tailed away a bit, despite aggressively trading. We probably just haven't quite gone with some of the others in the league. So maybe the likes of Dylan Lucas and Fletcher Sharp have been good that we've missed out on. But I guess the only thing to do is to look forward to this week. So just going through, Connor Watson will be playing Origin, so we might only have Nafahu White up front this week, which is fine. We get Preston back, which is good, and we still have Hubner, so that's probably like just sub him in the front row basically. So King Togia comes on for Metcalf. So we don't have Eero. So I might sub him with Garrick. for the move I want to make. We might get McCarthy with obviously Ponga out for Origin. Might be a bit of a reshuffle there. Probably doesn't affect the outside backs though, so that's a maybe. And then we do get Iongi and Nwangini Tuase, and we do have Katoa as well. So I'll just take McCarthy out of the calculations for the time being. Actually, push him on field. So we've got 13 in the starting lineup, 14, 15, maybe 16 going into this week before trades. So there is potential to hold. But what I want to do is I want to take advantage of Iongi's cash. So I'm going to go all the way down to Lawson. So frees up 300k, which is super valuable. And then what we're going to do, because Eero is probably out for a good while, is we're going to swap him out and we're going to go straight to the Rolls Royce that is Herbie Farnworth. So costs us about 100k, but we'll definitely get a lot of points out of that move. So I could have left him in the centres, I've just realised, but either way is fine. So I'll just put the reserve on them. So we do actually get those guys playing now. So we do have 17 this week. So, just looking through, there's not too many weak links. Like maybe LKT's score will drop out. We're not really relying on Lawson's score. It's a bit of a free hit. We do have the opportunity for Purdue. I don't want to say Campbell. Hopefully he bounces back. There might be a potential for another flop here or there, but we should be well covered. So, in terms of captain, vice captain, so we've got Sharks and the Dragons. So we could look at Nico to bounce back as VC. That'll do for now. Could go Campbell against Manly. And then the captaincy, I think, again, the obvious shout, probably across all the teams, if he plays, is Kaloa Matangi. So we're probably about to find out whether he is available this week. So let's have a look. There we go, round 15. So Sam Walker, Tom Trbojevic, Lockie Galvin, all named. So good stuff there. So Sharks Dragons first up. So for the Sharks, Hiroti slots in for Eero. Mulatalo comes back on the wing. And that's really their only change. The forward pack looks the same. For the Dragons, so there was a bit of talk about the young centre. I don't know if he's that young, but Sagranis. But Corey Allen's going to slot in the centres for Val Holmes, and Tyrell Sloan replaces Toy Pilotu. Leilua to start in place of Sewer, I think. I know Fatala Mariner. So Sewer must have missed last week as well. And Hame Sele comes onto the bench. So a few changes there. Titans, Sea Eagles. So for the Titans, doesn't look any different in the back line. Sean Mullaney, I think, played hooker last week, so that's the same. So Cleese Haas in the 13 for Big Tino. Probably Jolliffe comes into the starting team for Fodawaker. So Tui Simpkins, I know he's been a popular front row nuff in Supercoach, comes in, and Paxton as well. So probably another big middle forward, I'd imagine. Not too sure on Paxton, to be honest. But I guess if you're looking for a sort of nuff type pick to cash out on someone, Simpkins could be somewhat useful this week. And for the Seagulls, so Tom Trbojevic slots back in at fullback with Lehigh Hopewadi out HIA. I think that's about it. So DC obviously playing is massive. Olakuatu is playing. He pulled out of the New South Wales squad because of the pending birth of his child. So I guess if you've got him, that's pretty handy. But other than that, nothing too out of the ordinary there. Knights and Roosters. So for the Knights, so Fletcher Hunt still in the centres, so we don't get McCarthy, unfortunately. Sharp moves to fullback, and Jackson Hastings comes into the six. So probably not Supercoach relevant because it's probably a one game deal. Forward pack, nothing too out of the ordinary there. Matt Arthur on the bench. I'm not sure if he's featured previously. Phoenix Crossland in the 13. That's a bit different, maybe. But yeah, interesting selection there. For the Roosters, so Dom Young slots in for Rob Toya. Mwangini Tuase moves to the centres. So Hugo Savala moves to 6 with Sam Walker coming back, and Sandon Smith moves to the bench. So that is interesting. They've gone with Sandon Smith and Zach Dockett Clay on the bench. So if you have Sandon Smith, might be a trade out, I think. Nafahu White back in the starting side, which is good. Egan Butcher slots in for Angus Crichton. Yeah, Steep and Nat Butcher on the bench. So, yeah, interesting bench setup there with the two small guys, but we'll see how it pans out. Cowboys Dolphins. So for the Cowboys, I think Braden Burns comes in for. No? Who's missing in the back line? I can't think. I'll cheat and have a look down here. Oh, Vilea out. Okay, that's why it looks different. So yeah, Burns straight in for Vilea. Um, Derby and Taulungi back. So Jackson Paulo was on the bubble for Supercoach but doesn't get a run. Jordan McLean, Carl Lawton named in the 9. Kai O'Donnell named on the edge. Tal Malolo back in the 13. You love to see it. And then on the bench, I think Caden Lars might be the new guy, alongside probably Thomas McKaylee in for all of their forwards. There's a lot of changes there you can see on the list. Jake Clifford in as well for Tommy Dearden's probably one I've skipped over. For the Dolphins, so Jake Avarillo reverts to fullback for the Hammer. Max Fairnay comes in the centres. The forward pack, Oren Keeley on the edge for. I think that's been their usual setup. So I guess with the news that Saifidi and Tom Gilbert out for the season, maybe someone like a Kurt Donahue at 13 becomes relevant. Particularly if we do find out that Max Plath gets, has to have surgery on his knee as well. So yeah, definitely one I'm considering bringing in as a hard-working lock forward. Yeah, that's about it. And then Rabbitohs Bulldogs. So for the Rabbitohs, Jai Gray covers for the Trell. Tyrone Munro back in the side, so no Campbell Graham. Oh, he's on the extended reserve. So yeah, Campbell Graham back there. Jamie Humphries in the 7 with Sullivan with Cody Walker out. As my wife tries to sneak around behind the camera, probably did so successfully. I'm guessing. So what else? Kalamatangi named, which is massive. I think that's about it. And then for the Bulldogs, so Matt Burton named in the 18 for New South Wales. So Lockie Galvin comes in. Blake Wilson comes in for Steve Crichton. Kiraz moves to the centres. So not the best for Supercoach, but good to, he'll get his hands on the ball a bit more. And then the forward pack looks pretty much the same, just Curtis Moran coming in with Galvin in the starting team. So yes, I guess the big news there. Kalamatangi in's massive. Lockie Galvin starting's pretty good. As I said, I like Kurt Donahue as an option. Sam Walker back, so Sandon Smith might be a trade out. And that's Tom Trebojevic back's good too. And yeah, that's really about it. So might wrap it up there. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the team lists content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.